Welcome to the channel, and welcome to part 1 of this narrative game of Warhammer 40k 9th edition, Thousand Sons vs Orks. But first, a word from our sponsors in the Mechanicum. Today on the channel we return to the war-torn planet of Chancel 4 that has been subjected to a powerful waaaagh invasion. This is Battle 4, I think, of a little mini campaign I've been running between these two forces. The Thousand Sons were able to destroy a number of Ork rocks and battleships as they entered the system, with their own silver towers and Astartes battle fleets. However, a number of rocks did manage to land in the desert regions of the planet, and whilst the Thousand Sons were able to enact a heavy toll on the Orks as they tried to establish themselves on the planet, since then they have been fighting, battling a fighting retreat, losing the deserts to them initially, and then finally, in a very bitter blow to them, a staging area was overrun. That staging area was for human psykers who Magnus and Red had called out to the larger Imperium. Those psykers who were hiding from the black ships and the forces of the Inquisition to come and join him in a new Imperium of Man, fashioned in his own image, where psychic abilities and the human race will become a fully psychic race. Obviously, the loss of that installation and the slaughter of a large number of psykers has cost the Thousand Sons dearly, and as a result, the Legion leadership has arrived. Both Magnus the Red and Ahriman are present on this battlefield and have arrived on this planet to try and stem and destroy the Ork waaaagh before it builds even more momentum. As a result, the Magnus the Red has decided to meet the Ork waaaagh here. Imagine, if you will, that on this side of the battlefield and on the other side, the two lengthways are sheer sides of two huge glass and plasteel pyramids, and this is in effect a passageway between the two pyramids in the capital city of Chancel 4, Amon Hep. As a result of that, the waaaagh has been channeled into a fairly narrow area. Behind the battlefield in this direction is an entire endless wave of orks and stompers and vehicles chucking out fumes, choking the air with their guttural war cries. And in the very you can see a number of stompers approaching this area, and in the very rear you can see the outline of a great gargant, although its corpulent frame cannot get itself within this narrow location. Behind the Thousand Sons lines are a cabal of Thousand Sons sorcerers whose sole job is to try and create a psychic kine-shield over the capital city, thereby stopping the Orks from encroaching any further within the city and enabling the Thousand Sons to destroy those Orks who get within the shield, who are trapped within the shield. Should the Thousand Sons be successful, they will effectively have stopped the waaaagh from completely overrunning the planet, and they will then be able to strike out and counter-strike the waaaagh and take the battle to them in future games. If the Thousand Sons lose this game, they will be forced to quit this planet and give it up to the Ork waaaagh, and as a result it will be a major loss for them, because the psykers who have been called by Magnus the Red to come to his empire would not particularly want to come to a war-torn, devastated location. and would probably rather not make the journey. So this is a very big battle for the Thousand Sons, and very important that they win it. This game will be loosely based on the mission Crucible of War Blitz mission in the 8th edition rulebook, and basically how that game is run is that you'll see these dice here and here. The Thousand Sons will simply gain victory points for destroying Orc units. 1 victory point for each Orc unit, although I've decided it would be 3 victory points if they destroy the Stomper, and D3 if they destroy the Bonebreaker, and D3 if they destroy the Warboss. So the Thousand Sons will be scoring victory points throughout the game as the game progresses, as they destroy the enemy. The Orcs will only score victory points at the very end of the game. Now, as this is based on a 8th edition game, I'm going to be playing the random game length rules that used to exist in 8th edition. So the game may not end on the 5th turn. It could go on to the 6th or 7th turns, depending on the dice. Talking about the dice, the Orcs will score at the very end of the game. They will get 1 victory point for every Orc unit within the grey and the blue dice. And then they will get 2 victory points for every unit that's on this side of the blue dice. This is to reflect the fact that should the Orcs manage to break through the Thousand Sons lines, they will be able to stop the cabal of sorcerers from enacting that kine-shield, that psychic kine-shield, and it all will be lost for the Thousand Sons. They will have to get off that planet, abandon the city very quickly. A few things to note: this is a narrative game, so from the Thousand Sons perspective, summoning is a thing. They can summon within the game. I've placed all the Zinchi demons on the table, because it doesn't make sense that they would wait until the battle started before then summoning their allies, but that is something that they will be able to do throughout the game. When I planned this game, I didn't have the Stomper in mind, and obviously that's added a 900 points increase to the Orc side. So there are a few extra bonuses and buffs that I've applied to the Thousand Sons side. They will, to represent, there are defences up the side of the 2 pyramids. That's at the start of the Thousand Sons turn, they will roll 3 dice, and on 6s they can inflict D3 mortal wounds. 2 Orc units, 1 wound if it's a character. That's basically the indiscriminate projectiles rule for the twist in the open war deck. I should mention, quite an important point in this, that every time an Orc unit is destroyed, it is simply recycled again at the end, at the beginning, within 6 inches, or as far as, obviously it's a Stomper, as basically onto the battlefield. So yeah, that's to represent this endless tide of Orcs, so basically it's not just what you see on the battlefield. Every Orc unit that is destroyed is coming back, and for that reason I have given the Thousand Sons a little bit of an advantage with the indiscriminate projectiles, and they will also be going first. There will be no dice roll to see who goes first. This is to represent the fact that this is the Orc horde has basically moved on to this location, and this is prepared ground by the Thousand Sons. This is the best location they have decided for to stop this Orc war, and so they will definitely be getting first turn. I haven't really discussed points. It's basically all my Orcs and all my Thousand Sons. So I'm not entirely sure how balanced or how this game is going to go. It'd be interesting to see. I think the Stomp is going to be a bit of a thorn in the side of the Thousand Sons, but especially when they destroy it, it's going to come back again. But we shall see. It's an interesting game. Obviously, the Thousand Sons are not here to destroy the Orcs to an Orc. They are here to stop them getting through this to the cabal on the far side of that table. So that is their job, try and slow down the Orcs until the game ends. and they have more victory points than the Orks. I will talk briefly a bit about the armies. The Thousand Sons will be running the Cult of Time. That basically gives all Thousand Sons sorcerers, apart from the Zangor Shaman and the named characters Magnus and Ahriman, a spell which enables them to resurrect rubrics and Scarab Occult Terminators. The Orks, on the other hand, will be running the Evil Sons clan trait today, because these are the ones that are quite eager to get into the fray. They're the ones who have got to the front of the Ork column, the Ork waaaagh, and they're the ones who are most interested in getting there quickly. If the war boss is destroyed, he does have, the war boss has the shiny gubbins, the big red claw, and the biggest boss warlord trait. If he's destroyed, then another war boss will be coming on, but will not be having those that warlord trait or shiny gubbins. So let's have a quick look at the Orks while we're here. I mean, there's not much to say other than the only unit that's in this truck is the war boss, but he's also with 8 knobs. And hold on, it's only occurred to me, do knobs count as 2 choices? Hold on. No, just checking, it's mega knobs and jump back Orks that could take up 2 spaces, so that's fine. So they're in that truck. So yeah, so mega knobs over here, Death Tread, Mega Track, Scrapjet, Bone Breaker. I haven't bothered with any custom jobs or anything like that. I'm trying to keep this quite simple. Big squad of Slugger Chopper Boys with a knob with a power claw in there. Behind there is the big mech with custom force field and the pain boy. We should try and keep that squad alive a bit more. 12 shooter boys. Obviously Stomper, Big Bertha. It's first game for her, so hopefully she'll do well. Already mentioned there's the knobs and the war boss in that truck, and then we've got the Death Killer War Trike, the knobs on bikes, and then the looters with their grot shields, and then finally the shock drunk dragster. Follow Thousand Sons. They've obviously intentionally put their demons slightly ahead to try and soak up the battering ram that's coming, in the knowledge that they could probably summon in more once they're destroyed. So we've basically got Pink Horrors, the Fate Skimmer, and then we've got the Exalted Flamer and the Standard Flamers here. A couple of spawns scrabbled ahead, and then the Screamers over here. And then on this flank we've got the Zangors, got 20 Zangor warriors, and then the Zangor Enlightened and the Shaman. That's Shaman's buffing both of those units. And then in charge of the first layers of defense is the Demon Prince, and some cultists who are behind these rather hastily scrabbled up barriers. And then the Legion pretty much in the backfield. So we've got 2 squads of Rubric Marines on the high ground. We've got Magnus the Red with his Scarab Occult Terminator bodyguard. A couple of standard sorcerers. This is a Noctilith Crown. We'll be running the Noctilith Crown rules, which basically buffs psychers within 6 inches of it. And enemy, the Weird Boys, within 24 inches of it will perils on any double rolled. Land Raider, Ahriman behind this squad. The Exalted Sorcerer, whose fate is very much tied into this game. I think whose head will roll if the Thousand Sons lose it, is on this flank with that squad. And then we obviously got the Helldrake and the Defiler. And the Hellbrute in the middle here. So, edit, I forgot to mention that the Thousand Sons have spent 1 command point for Magister, which enables Ahriman to take his Warlord trait, so he's a free up invulnerable save. And the Sorceress Arcana is Helm of the Third Eye, which basically allows this, every time you spend a command point on a 5-up, the Thousand Sons get a command point back. Yeah, and if I didn't mention it before, with 18 command points on both sides, each army having 18. I don't think the Orks have spent any. So, yeah. Okay, let's go to Thousand Suns, turn 1. Okay, at the beginning of turn 1, Thousand Suns, they gain a command point, putting them back up to 18, and see if the psychic defences activate. Yes, they do. D3 mortal wounds are going to go onto the looters, killing 1. Okay, this is the end of movement phase, turn 1 for the Thousand Suns. The Zangors have advanced forward, not literally advanced, they've just moved forward. The Exalted Sorcerers come down just to give the reroll 1 buff to the Zangor Enlightened. The Screamers have all come forward and are eyeing up a charge against that truck. We're going to try and force the war boss to get out on foot. The demons in the middle have just generally advanced within range of their shooty weapons. Demon Prince tucking in behind the horrors, and the Fate Skimmer giving a +1 strength buff to all demons, Zinchi demons within 6. The what are these things called? Spawn, thank you. The Spawn could have just about got a 12-inch charge on the Meganovs, but they've used their last remaining 2 brain cells just to tuck in behind there to try and not get shot. Other than that, everything really keeping still, and the backfield here, the Thousand Suns trying to make combat occur here as opposed to here where the victory points are, and trying to sort of keep the Orks from advancing too much into the battlefield. So that's movement. Let's go into the psychic phase. It's spending a command point on Chaos Familiar, so the Zangor Shaman can swap out the Glamour of Tzeentch spell he knows and change it with Warp Time. Can't pick that initially because it's a Dark Hereticus Discipline spell, but they can with Chaos Familiar. So now that's permanently that spell, and it's going to try and cast it on the Zangors in front of him. Warp charge value of 6. The Weirboy is out of range for all denials. That's a fail, but it has an elixir which can re-roll the first fail psychic test, and that now succeeds. Okay, moving on. Magnus the Red will cast Glamour of Tzeentch on himself. Warp charge value of 7. Get to add 2 to that. That goes off. He will then increase his invulnerable save. Warp charge value 6. Add 2 to this, and you can re-roll 1s. And that does succeed. So I actually don't know why I needed to re-roll that. It still goes off. All other offensive psychic spells are out of range. The Fate Skimmer will cast Flickering Flames on the Pink Horrors. Warp charge value 5. And that goes off, and that means the Pink Horrors have +1 to wound with their shooting attacks. Ahriman will Prescience Land Raider, warp charge value of 7. He gets to add 1 to that, and that's a fail. Only command point reroll that, I think. Still fails. Okay, Demon Prince will Smite. Warp charge value 5, that goes off. It's about the same distance between the boys and the Stomper, so I want to put it against the Stomper. D3 mortal wounds for 1 mortal wound against the Stomper. It's down to 39. For his second spell, he will cast Boon of Change, warp charge value 7. That does go off. Roll a D3, and he has an extra strength. I was hoping for toughness, but there we go. And then final spell, this sorcerer to the right of Magnus will cast Boon of Change, Dark Boon of Change, Boon of Tzeentch. Warp charge value 7. That goes off. Roll 2d6 and consult a table. 4. Temporal distortion, add 3 inches to the character's move characteristic. Not that useful. Oh well. Okay, and that's the end of the Thousand Suns Psychic phase turn 1. Not much really happening because even with the extra 6 inches to psychic ranges for Thousand Suns, most of the offensive stuff is out of range. Actually, I just remembered Magic made manifest with the pink horrors on a 5-up made smite. Yes, and that will hit a stomper and do another wound against it. Okay, kicking off the shooting phase, the Zangor Enlightened will shoot their great caster bows into the knobs on bikes, hitting on 2s because +1 to hit because of the shaman, rerolling 1s because of the exalted sorcerer, and rerolling those 1s. Ugh, 3 ones, 3 misses. 5s and 6s are also wounds. These are strength 4, toughness 5, so 5s to wound, and that is that many -1 saves, so 5 up. Only makes 1, so that's 1 dead bike, 1 takes 2 wounds. Okay, the Rhino will fire its Havoc launcher into the mob of boys, of 30 boys, because it's blast, it will fire its maximum, which is 6 shots, and hitting on 3s. And getting 5 hits, strength 5, toughness 4 for the time being, 3s to wound. And this is AP dash, they got a custom force field of 5s, and 6 up, Painboy Shrug. Okay. Okay, horrors into the boys. Assault 2, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Demon Prince. Okay, they're strength user, but because we've been 6 inches of the Fate Skimmer, that's strength 4, and they get to add 1 to the roll because of flickering frames, so these are wounding on 3s. Custom force field. God, it's doing work already, and shrug. 2 boys go. Okay, Zinchi Flamers into the boys, 3d6 auto hits. Not that good. Now I'm saving my command point reroll for the las cannons in the Land Raider. So that's 8. Hitting, auto hitting, wounding on 4, strength 4, toughness 4. Custom force field. Shrug. 1 more. Okay, las cannons from the Land Raider smacking into the Stomper. Didn't get prescience off, so these are hitting on 3s. But I can reroll 1s because of Magnus Red. So they do all hit anyway. Strength 9, toughness 8. And they all wound. So -3 at 6 up saves. 1 is saved. That's 3d6 damage coming into the Stomper. Oh no! I'm going to have to command point reroll that 1. So that's a bit better. So that's 10 damage. 28 wounds left on the Stomper. Okay, Exalted Flamer into the battle wagon. Stomper's unfortunately out of range. It's heavy, fine, it's pink profile, heavy free, hitting on 5s because it moved. Hold on. But he's within 6 of Demon Prince, so I can reroll that 1. It still misses. So 1 strength 8 hits against the Bone Breaker, which wounds. So -4, goes straight for the armor, D3 damage for 1. Okay, Defiler's Battle Cannon will continue to pour fire down into the Stomper. I'm going to spend a command point on Demon Forged. This is how many shots it fires. Now, only 2. It's disappointing. Hitting on 4s. Does hit twice. Strength 8, toughness 8, so it's 4s to wound. And I can reroll failed wounds because of Demon Forge. Still only 1 wound. It's at -2, I believe. That's going to be a save. Yes, that saves, and that's the end of the shooting phase. All other weapons are really out of range. Most Thousand Suns weapons, 24 inches. Oh, there we go. So that's the end of shooting phase for turn 1, Thousand Suns. Yeah, good few hits against the Stomper, but nothing destroyed as of yet. As we're going to go into the charge phase. The 2 charges to declare. The Screamer is going to go into the truck, and the Zangors are going to go into the knob bikes, and they're going to Overwatch. Okay, 2 Zangors slain in the Overwatch. A lot of Daka coming out, and that I get to add 1 to that with the Brayhorn. I believe that's in. Yes, that gets them within an inch, so they have managed a successful charge. The Screamers are definitely in on a 9. Helm of the Third Eye. Oh, Thousand Suns get a command point back. Okay, and that's how things look at the end of piling in and heroically intervening. That's what the Death Killer Wartrike did, heroically intervened, and then the Zangors piled in, and so some of them are going to attack the Death Killer Wartrike. So yeah, the Zangors are going to be selected to fight first, and I'm going to spend a command point on Veterans of the Long War, which will increase their wound rolls by 1. Okay, 9 Zangors into the knobs on bikes, hitting on 3s. This is including the twist bray. 13 hits, strength 4, toughness 5, but +1 for veterans, so 4s. 7 5-up saves. 5 wounds caused, that's going to kill that last bike, and 1 more bike. Okay, 7 Zangors can target the Death Killer Wartrike, and they are hitting on 3s. And they have an ability called Relic Hunters, which means they can reroll hit rolls in the fight phase against characters. So only 1 misses. Strength 4, toughness 6, but with veterans this is wounding on 4s. Only 4 out of 13. That's a bad wound roll. So these are 5-up saves. That could have been embarrassing. 3 wounds off the Death Killer Wartrike. It has 5 left. Attacks back with the Death Killer Wartrike, hitting on 2s with the Snagger Claw. Strength +2, so that's strength 7, wounding on 3s. And I can reroll all failed wounds with this weapon. So that's 4 wounds, 5-up invulnerable saves, killing 2. The Boss Knob, hitting on 4s because he's got an unwieldy Power Claw. 1 hit, wounding on 2s, wounds, 5-up, kills. The other 2 bikers hitting on 3s, wounding on 3, strength 5, 3 more 5-up saves, so 2 more die in total from the bikes. Okay, continuing with the charges, the Screamers, I'm going to spend a command point on Warp Jaws, which means they add 1 to their wound rolls against vehicles or monsters. They've got 3 attacks each, and they're hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s with Warp Jaws, and goes straight for the armour, and that's 6 damage, but Ram's Shackle kicks in. On 6s they become 1 damage. No, so that is 6 damage, there's 4 left on the truck. Okay, attacks back by the truck with the Wrecking Ball. Did get a number of hits in, but did no damage. And that's the end of the combat phase. So I'm going to spend 2 command points on Cycle of Slaughter, which basically means my Zangors are going to fight again. And because veterans is still in effect, they get +1 to the wound rolls still. I really want to try and get at least 1 victory point and destroy the knobs on bikes, so as many Zangors are going to go into them as possible. So these against the knobs on bikes, hitting on 3s. 14 hits, wounding on 4s with veterans. That's a good wound roll. These are 5-up saves. Unfortunately for the Thousand Suns, not quite enough to destroy units. 2 wounds left on the boss knob. Okay, the Zangors got leadership 7 and they lost 6 that turn, so they need a 1 to hold. They fail. 1 has fled and the others, so 4 flee in total. Now, the Ork player is going to spend 2 command points on Insane Bravery to keep. He could still pass his morale on a 1 or 2, but yeah, that way I stop the Thousand Suns scoring any points because nothing's been destroyed. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So it's going to put the Orks down to 16 command points. Let's see if Thousand Suns get 1 back. Yeah, they do. And the Thousand Suns are now on 14 as we go into Ork turn 1. Let's see what the clanking horde does in return. I forgot to mention that the Death Killer Wartrike suffered 2 more wounds against the Zangors. Okay, let's go to Ork turn 1. Here we are at the end of movement phase Ork turn 1. General advance, bit of a traffic jam here as the Bonebreaker swung this way slightly. Yeah, truck reversed out of combat. The War Boss got out. He's a little bit annoyed, but I guess there's some people to crump right in front of him, so he's okay with that. These are going to stay in combat because it just didn't feel right that they would leave that combat. And yeah, just shock jump dragster getting all the way up there. Stomper advancing, not literally, just moving normal forwards. And the shooter boys advancing, so not much really to say. Psychic Phase is one weird boy. He will smite. He can add 1 to this because of the amount of orcs around him, and it's going to hit the Zangors, and that goes off on a 7. There is a can deny with the shaman down the field there, so need an 8, and that does deny. So that's the end of that psychic phase. Let's go on into the shooting phase. I meant to repair the Stomper with the big mech, and he's going to use his Grot Oiler. So D3 plus 1 wounds back. Oh, only 2 wounds back. That's annoying. Stomper is back up to 30 wounds, but it does mean it's on its 2nd bracket. Okay, let's open fire with the Stomper Big Bertha. He's going to put split fire all over the place. I think his Death Cannon is going to go return fire against the Land Raider. Scorcher is going to go into the Screamers down here. The big shooters are all going to go into the pink horrors in front of them. If fire 1 super rocket, that would also go against the Land Raider. And the super Gatler cannon, hold on. Yeah, and super Gatler will fire at the squad of rubrics in that corner down there. So let's do the Death Cannon first. This is heavy 3d6, and this is into the Land Raider. It fires 8 times, hitting on 5s, 2 daggers. It's strength 10, so wounding on 3s against toughness 8. -4, 6 up saves. And that's 3d6 damage. 14, there's 2 wounds left. Ouch! The super rocket is heavy d6. 2 shots, hitting on 5s. Snake Eyes just corkscrews away, and Thousand Suns breathe a sigh of relief. Scorcher into the Screamers, hits twice. Strength 5, freeze to wound. 2 wounds, 2 4-up invulnerable saves, and they survive. Okay, the Super Gatler into the rubrics, fires 10 times. 5s to hit. 4 daggers. Strength 7. These are -2, but only 1 damage. So all this dust kicks in. So back to 4-up saves and 2 die. On a 2-up, I get to fire it again with the Psycho Daka Blaster rule. If I roll a 1, I can never fire it again in this game. Nope, it gets to fire again. Same target, I think. Ooh, 15 shots. 5s. 4 daggers, which don't convert. Freeze to wound. 4-up saves. And another 3 die. These are the shooters and twin big shooters into the horrors, hitting on 5s. Only 3 hits, winning on 3s. And then 2 4-up saves. No, 1 pink horror goes pop. Ooh, I love my new toy. So, the Stomper, half destroying. I decided not to. I could have fired the Super Gatler again, but it would run out of ammo on a 4+. And I probably, So it's killed 5 rubrics. It's taken 14 wounds off the Land Raider and tickled the pink horrors. So yeah, that was good. That was good fun. Let's move on to the what's next? The Bonebreaker, I think. Okay, continuing then, the Bonebreaker is Bonebreaker's kill cannon's not got great amount of range, so it's not got too many targets. You'll have to fire into the Rhino, I think. Heavy d6 shots for 4. 5s, freeze to wounds, and 5 up saves, and the Rhino takes 2 wounds. Okay, big shooters into the Flamers of Zinch. 3 daggers. Strength 5, toughness 4, freeze. Oh dear, only 3. 4 up invulnerable save. Yeah, they walk through that. Okay, there are 17 Orc boys in range of the Flamers. They will fire their sluggers on 5s. 4 daggers. 7 4s to wound. That is 4 up saves. And 1 Flamer takes a wound. Okay, the Mega Track Scrapjet is just about out of range. Well, actually quite a bit out of range to the Land Raider. I was hoping to finish off the last 2 wounds. So it's 2 twin big shooters will go into the cultists in front of it. And the rocket cannon and wing missiles will go into the Hell Brute. Okay, these are the twin heavy shooters into the cultists. The blue dice are hitting on 4s because it's fired by the Gretchen. 3 hits, winning on 3s. 5 up save because of the barricade. Oh, only 1 dies. 2d3 shots for the rocket cannon. 3 shots for the rocket cannon plus 1 for the rocket, which is a blue dice. And that is 1 hit. Wounding on 3s. Doesn't wound. Not great targets for the Mega Knobs, nothing much in range. There's 1 rocket that can fire at a spawn. He hits and daggers and doesn't convert. Wounding on 3s. Doesn't wound. 2 more rockets have to go into cultists. Bit of an overkill if they hit, but they don't. Okay, the War Boss will fire both profiles of his combi weapon. Grey dice being the rocket, blue the that's cocked. The shooter. No, it all misses because it's -1 to hit. He's got a couple of sluggers. 1 hits with a dagger. Doesn't convert. This is obviously into the screamers. Wounding on 4s. Doesn't wound. Okay, shooter boys into the screamers. This is the big shooter. Hits once with a dagger, which does convert. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. 2 4 up saves. Takes a wound. These are the shooter boys and the slugger from the knob. Hit on 5s. 4 daggers. Wounding on 4s. That's 4 4 up saves. Oh dear. So that's going to kill 1, 2, and leave the last one on a wound. Okay, 6 of the Grot Blasters are in range, so they will try and finish the Screamer off. Hit on 4s because they're gobos. Nah, that's not too good. 2 hits, 5s to wound, strength 3. Does wound, 4 up save. Saved. Okay, the Death Killer Wartrike has the vehicle keyword, so it can fire into combat. These are the 3 twin boomsticks. 3 hits with the dagger converting, wounding on 3s. 1 wound. 5 up save. Nope, that kills 1. Then he's going to use the burner profile of his killer jet, which also hits 5 times. And will wound on 3, strength 5. 3 more saves. And that's another 2 deaths, so that's 3 in total. And the Snagger Claw hits and daggers. Doesn't convert, wounding on 4s, wounds, and saves. These angles here selling themselves dearly. Right, just got the shock jump dragster. Okay, unfortunately, this character is in front of its unit. Little bit of a tactical area there. Whoops. So shock jump dragster is going to fire its weapons at that shaman. So the blue dice are hit and freeze because it's fired by a targeting squig. And the rocket misses. That's a dagger, which converts. It's 2 strength 8, so wounding on 2s. 2 wounds 2 5-up invulnerable saves, otherwise take d6 damage. And that's 2 fails. Okay, I'm going to try and command point reroll at least one of them to try and give that character a fighting chance. And that does succeed, so only one gets through. I think there's 4 wounds, d6 damage for only 2. Command point reroll for the Orks for that damage roll. Oh no! Zinch steps in, only 1 wound on the sorcerer, that's lucky. Do the Thousand Suns get one back? No. Right, only things to fire left are the looters. They were going to shoot at the Zangor Enlightened. They have D3 shots for 2 shots. Okay, 5s. 4 daggers. Okay, these are strength 7, -1, flat 2 damages. So freeze to wound. And these are 5-up Aura of Dark Glory saves. Every fail is a dead enlightened. And that is 3 dead enlightened. Okay, and that's the end of the shooting phase for Orc turn 1. Fairly good, I think. The Thousand Suns taking quite a few casualties across the lines. I'm a bit worried for them. This flank in particular looking a bit shaky with the Land Raider all ready to go. And the Rubrics taking a punishment from the Stomper. So they lost 5. They got leadership 8. And that's a fail. 1s and 2s. So another one for these. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. It's not quite the morale phase yet. We've still got this combat. Defenders go first. Actually, I'm going to charge in with the weird boy. And I'm going to charge, because they can, because within 6 inches of the war boss, even though they advanced, I'm going to charge this squad of boys into that Screamer. Okay, all of those charges making it in easily. The weird boy's going to activate first. Got 3 attack space. Hitting on freeze with the weird boy staff. Getting 1 hit. Strength 7. Wounds. 5-up save. No, it does kill 1. I'll do the boss knob. I'll do the knob first. Into the Screamer. Hitting on freeze. Winning on freeze with his strength 5 chopper. And then 2 4-up saves. No, that does get the Screamer. Okay, defenders attack first. So these are the Zangors into the boss knob on the bike. Hitting on freeze. Only 3 hits. Winning on 5s now, because the Veterans is no longer in place. So 2 wounds, 2 5-up saves. Ah, double 6! They still haven't killed that unit. Oh, God. And then this is against the Deathkiller Ward Strike. Reroll failed hits because of Trophy Hunters. And then winning on 5s this time. Getting 2 wounds, 2 5-up saves. Takes a wound. Only 2 left on the Deathkiller. Attacks back. This is the knob and bike hitting twice. 2s to wound. 1 wound, 5-up saved. And then the Deathkiller hitting on 2s. 3 hits. Winning on 3s. Rerolled failed wounds. 3 5-ups. 3 more go. Suddenly remembered there's 1 extra attack with the twist beret against that Orc bike. So let's do that now. It does hit. Come on. Doesn't wound. Edit. I forgot to charge the Bonebreaker. So I'll do that now. It will automatically be in. It's just an inch away. And it will hit D6 plus 6 times for 10. It hits on 2s with a Bonebreaker Ram. Strength 9, toughness 4, 2s to wound. 4-up saves. Yeah, and at 2 damage apiece, that will destroy the squad. Okay, so that is the end of combat. The Zangors have lost, I think, another 9. So they need a 1. Oh, they hold. Excellent. And then Zangor Enlightened, they lost 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. They hold. Cultists have only lost 1, but with leadership 6. They could still fail, but no, they hold. Okay, the horrors can't fail, but if I roll a 1, that dead horror, blue horror, dead. Okay, the horrors can't fail, but if I roll a 1, which I don't, then they could have got that pink horror back. Okay, I think that's the end of the first turn. It's 0-0 because the Thousand Suns have still yet to kill a unit. I'm worried for the Thousand Suns. Yes, okay, well, let's see what happens in turn 2. Okay, here we are at the end of the movement phase for Thousand Suns turn 2. The Demon Prince has retreated back to the second lines, to the rear here. The horrors have moved up slightly. They're going to chuck themselves at the Orks, I think, the demons. The Spawn have come around here to engage with the Megatrack Scrapjet. The Zangors have fallen out of combat because the Enlightened want to finish off that last remaining biker, start getting some points. Yes, and then the Helldrake has come forward to engage the enemy. Magnus has come forward slightly because I'll really start using his Smite battery. So he's now within range of the Bone Breaker at least. But other than that, yeah. So I mean, the Thousand Suns have, you know, they've stopped the Orcs getting too high up the board, but then the Orcs not exactly fast either. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but we shall see. At the end of the movement phase, my 2 sorcerers summoned in demon reinforcements and more flamers. Here, I need to roll a 4 on 3d6. And more screamers coming out of the Noctilith Crown as they call on their god for reinforcements. Desperate times, I think. So we need to start making the Orcs hurt this turn. And so let's move on to the Psychic phase. Kicking off the Psychic phase with Gaze of Fate from the Fate Skimmer. And that goes off. That gives me a reroll. And 2 command points on Kabbalistic Focus on Magnus the Red. If there's 2 other psychic units within 6 inches of him, yes, there's a Demon Prince and the Scarabocok Terminators, then I get to add 2 to his next cast, and he's going to be smiting the Bone Breaker, and he already adds 2 to his roll anyway because he's Magnus the Red, so this is +4 to this roll. I'm looking for big money. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gaze of Fate reroll. Yeah, so that is a super smite. That's 2d6 mortal wounds coming against the Bone Breaker. And, only 5. Okay, next spell he will cast Glamour of Zinchi, which goes off. And he will then heal the Land Raider. And he can reroll. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to reroll that 1. It still goes off. There's no denial range. So, D3 mortal wounds back on the Land Raider 3, so it's now got 5 left. The Shaman here will simply smite the Deathkiller Wartrike, not Deathkiller Wartrike, Shock Jump Dragster. Need a 6 now, second cast, and that fails. Okay, Ahriman will smite the Megatrack Scrapjet. This is on 7, so he gets to add 1 to this. That goes off, D3 mortal wounds for 1. There are 7 left. Next up, he will Infernal Gaze, what charge value of 5 against the Megatrack Scrapjet. That goes off. And then on 4-ups, I do Mortal Wounds. No. Finally, he will Prescience the Land Raider. And that is a Perils. This is not going well. So command points, command points spent. And that 6 does go off on a 7, so the Land Raider is at least prescienced up. Thousand Suns down to 10 command points. Okay, this rubric Aspiring Sorcerer will cast Time Flux, and that goes off on a 10, which means I can put D3 models back in the unit for only 1. Okay, continuing then, this Exalted Sorcerer will Smite. I think we're up to 8 now. and he fails, he will then cast Bolt of Change, and that fails as well because it's got trust value of 9. This sorcerer will do Boon of Zinchi, and that passes a raw d6 console to table 5. Okay, and that's Prescience Foresight, which basically gives them a 6-up shrug. Okay, I'm going to spend a command point on Minions of Magic on the Pink Horrors, which basically means their Smite casts as if I rolled a 9. The Shaman is actually in denial, so I'm going to try and do that. Oh, and he makes me waste my command point. Oh dear. Alright, okay. A little Luckluster. Psychic phase, really. Let's go on to shooting phase and see if that gets better. Okay. The Zangor Enlightened, there's 3 left, can target that Deathglow Warstrike because characters don't block characters. That's not a unit of 3 or more, and it's in front of the truck, so it doesn't get lookouts there. So these are going to go in, hitting on 2s, auto wounding on 5s. Look at that. I do get to reroll 1s because of the Exalted Sorcerer. Hooray! I don't get a single auto wound, which I was really hoping to do because there's only 2 wounds left. So these are 5s to wound. I do get 3 wounds, 3 -1s. Need to make 2 of them. These are 5-ups. And that's a dead Warstrike. Unless I command point reroll, which I will. No, it's still dead. Does the Thousand Suns get command point back? No. That is their first victory point. Except it's got 2 wounds left. So the Bale Flamer from the Hell Drake is going to have to do it. D6 auto hits for 5. 4s to wound. And I think it's a -1 and -2. Let me see what I roll. That's definitely going to kill it now. Exalted Flamer into the... I think the Bonebreaker. Let's see if I can destroy it. I'm really lucky. Only gets 1 hit. Strength is 9 because it's close to the chariot, so 3s to wound. Doesn't wound. Twice it's whiffed. Okay, Multi-Melter into the Bonebreaker. Reroll those 1s because of Magnus. It's 2 hits. Strength 8. So toughness 8, so it's 1 wound. It's going to go burning through the armour and do d6 damage for 4. 1 wounds left on the Bonebreaker. Okay, another command point spent on Demon Forge with the Defiler. He's going to put his Battle Cannon into the Bonebreaker and the Autocannon into the Shock Jump Dragster. So let's do the Autocannon first. It's 4 dice hitting on 4s. And reroll miss because of Demon Forged. And I can't reroll, that's fine. So 3s to wound. 2 wounds, 2 5-up saves. Take a wound. Okay, cannon fires 6 times, yes. Hitting on 4s, rerolling everything. Get 4 hits, 5 hits. Winning on 4s, rerolling everything. Oh no, it didn't help. Oh, right, -6 of 5s. Actually, no, sorry, 6s. Only got 3 up save. That does go through. That's 2d3 damage. It's not going to kill it, but it does put it down to 3 wounds. Okay, the Terminator's going to try and finish it off. So everything into the Bonebreaker. This is the missile launcher. Rerolling the 1s because of Magnus. 2 hits. Strength 8, toughness 8. It's a wound. -2, so this is a 6-up save. No, flat 2. Down to 1 wound. Okay, these are the Warp Storm Bolters. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s. Strength 4, toughness 8. These are 6s. And that is 3 -2. So 3 6s. No, that is a destroyed Bonebreaker. Does it blow up? No, it doesn't. There's no one inside, but it does get me D3 victory points for 2. Okay, pink horrors are going to shoot under the arm of the stomper into the shooter boys, hitting on 4s. Only 5 hits. That was a shocking roll. Strength user, which is 3 + 1, 4, so 4's to wound. But that is going to kill them. Go straight for the arm at -1, so that's 4 boys dead. Okay, I rolled the cultists off camera. They did nothing against the Megatrax Scrapjet. The only thing really in range, and the only thing in range up here with the rubrics is also the Megatrax Scrapjet. So this is the Soul Reaper, rerolling 1s because of Ahriman. Strength 5, toughness 6, so 5s to wound. Burns for the armor, does a wound. And then 2 rapid fire bolt guns, they all hit. 5s to wound. Get 1 wound, 6 up save. No, that's another wound. There's 5 left on the Megatrax Scrapjet. And Raider with 5 wounds left is hitting on 4s, but because it's prescience, it's hitting on 3s. The las cannons are going to go into the stomper, heavy bolters into the Megatrax Scrapjet. So this is the las cannons, 3s to hit. Oh, so I rolled 2 2s. Could have rerolled 1s. Strength 9, toughness 8. Get 1 wound, 6 up save. No, that's d6 damage on the stomper. Lost it. I think that was a 1. Command point reroll, down to 7 now, I think. That's 4. Heavy bolters, rerolling those 4 1s because of Ahriman. Hitting on 3s because of prescience. 4 hits, strength 5, toughness 6, 5s. And that is 2 -1s. And fails 1, makes 1. That's another 2 damage, putting it down to 3 wounds. Hopefully enough for the spawn to finish it off. Okay, finally the rubric squad up here is going to put everything into the shock jump dragster. So this is the Soul Reaper hitting on 3s. And don't get to reroll 1s because the sorcerer's moved away. 5s. Burns for the armor, does a wound, so there's 6 left. And these are the rapid fire bolt guns. 14 hits coming through, that's good. Wounding on 5s. 6 wounds, you need to get at least 1 6 or it's destroyed. Ah, I rolled 3, so 3 wounds left. Okay, and that's the end of the cheating phase for the Thousand Suns. Yeah, okay, well, we destroyed the Bonebreaker. That's not too bad. Beginning to tickle a few more wounds off the Stomper. It's still pretty scary, though. But I think that's going to be next turn's problem. And I'm hoping to be able to destroy the buggies on the flanks here, so give me another couple of victory points. Now that the Thousand Suns have starting to rack up victory points, I feel a little bit better. It's 4 units destroyed, or 4 victory points, as we go into the charge phase. So that's going to be obvious. That's going to be the Helldrake into the shock jump dragster, and the spawn into the Megatrax Scrapjet. And I might actually just throw the chariot into combat, I think, against the Stomper. Why not? Okay, here we are at the end of the charge phase for the Thousand Suns, turn 2. One thing I forgot to mention is that the psychic defences of 3d6 and on 6's mortal wounds, of course, did not trigger this turn. I've decided to chuck in the pink horrors as well, in the hope that they do keep chipping away the wounds at the Stomper, and the Helldrake and the Spawn managed to get into combat. So I'm going to activate the Fate Skimmer first. The Rider has 3 attacks and he's hitting on 4s, and he scores 2 hits. His strength is 4, toughness 8, so it's 6 is to wound. Gets a wound, -1 save. Saves. Well, it is a ritual dagger after all. Probably trying to prise open a armor plate. And the Screamers will now attack, hitting on 4s, scoring 2 hits, wounding on 5, strength 7, 2 wounds. -3 saves, so 6 up. And that's 4 damage caused against the Stomper, putting it on 22. I'm going to spend 2 command points to interrupt with the Megatrax Scrapjet. It has 4 attacks with its nose drill, hitting on 4s, getting 1 hit. Wounding on 3s. Does wound, goes straight for the armor, does D3 damage for 2, so putting 1 spawn on 2 wounds. Okay, I'll do the spawn now. They roll a D3 when they attack, and that's grasping pseudopods for their mutated beyond reason. Each spawn adds 2 to its attacks characteristic until the end of the fight phase. So they got D6 plus 2 attacks, that's 4 attacks, that's 8 in total. Hitting on 4s. Only scoring 2 hits, maybe the whirling nose drills confused them a little bit. Wounding on 5s. No wounds. Spawn don't do anything. Okay, let's go on to the Helldrake. With Hateful Assault. Helldrake's has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. Only scoring 3 hits. Strength 7, toughness 6. 3s to wound. 2 -1s. Missed it. And that's 2 saves. Oh dear. I'll do the horrors off camera because they're not going to do anything. Actually, they managed to score 2 wounds, even though they're winning on 6s. 3 up saves as they scramble in. Managed to prise open a few armor plates and fire their flames into the interior and probably roast a few Gretchen. So that's 2 more wounds. The Stomp is down to 20 wounds. It's half destroyed. And those pink horrors managed to drop it down to its second bracket. So it's now only got 4 attacks in this profile. But he's going to be using the swipe, I think that's the word, the slash profile of its Mega Chopper, which basically means it has 3 attacks for each attack. So that means 12. I'm going to put 9 into the chariot and 3 into the horrors. So this is the horrors, hitting on 4s, strength 10, wounding on 2s. And it's going to hit the blue horror, so 5 up and vulnerable saves. I'm only going to kill 1 blue horror. The chariot has locus of Zinch, which means I roll 2 dice, and I pick the lowest, which is 6, which means hit rolls of 6 will now miss it. So he's only hitting on 4s and 5s. Defensive spells being wielded by the demons. So, oh goodness. So that would be the only hit, but it misses because the defensive spell kicks in, locus of Zinch. So the Stomper just kills a blue horror, which splits into a brimstone. Okay, the shock jump dragster with its saw blades has 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, and they all miss. What an ineffectual combat round from both armies. Okay. Right, morale. Okay, that shoot unit lost 4, but because they're just about win 6 of this large squad of boys, they've got leadership loads, so they're not going to fail. So that's the end of Thousand Suns turn 2. Okay, here we are at the end of the movement phase for Orc turn 2. They gained a command point, putting them back up to 15. So some reinforcements from the waaaagh continue to come onto the table edge here. The Grots have moved up to engage the remaining Zangors. The Warboss has got back into his truck, and there's been a general advance up here. The Weirboy getting the 6 for his advance. The Shock Jump Dragster staying in combat. The Death Dread and the Meganobs advancing up this flank, along with the boys here. Whoop, focus. Now here was a conundrum. The Stompers only got movement 9 on this profile, and whilst it can step over infantry and swarms, it does still need to remain outside engagement range after doing that, and it simply did not have enough movement without advancing to clear the pink horrors. So it's not really going to plan for the Orcs. They've been a bit bogged down here, so it's had to take a step backwards in order for it to shoot its weapons. It could have shot into combat, of course, but it does have better targets downfield. So the Stomper, a little bit mired and bogged down here, which is an interesting set of circumstances. However, the big mech will try and heal it. It will do D3 wounds back onto it. Only one, so back up to 21. So I think the first task for the Orks is to clear these demons out of their way. So the weird boy will smite, and that will pass. Fortunately for the weird boy, he's outside 24-inch range of the Noctilith Crown, because that would have forced him to perils. However, there is a denial from the sorcerer, the Zangor shaman, and that succeeds in that denial. So let's go on to the shooting phase. Okay, grot blasters into Zangors, hitting on 4s. No daggers, but getting 7 hits, wounding on 5s. 5 up saves, killing 1. Okay, big shooter from the truck into the Zangors, getting 2 hits, freeze to wound, and then 5 up saves. 1 left. Boomsticks into the last remaining Zangor from the Death Killer. 1 hit, wounding on freeze, wounds, 5 up save. Saved. Okay, the Bone Breaker is going to have to do it. These are the heavy shooters, big shooters. 3 hits, freeze to wound, and I need 5 ups. And that finally kills the last Zangor as they give their lives. I think they've done quite well though in slowing down the Orks, but that's the end of the Zangors. Okay, the kill cannon's going to be out of range. The looters are going to try and finish off the Zangor enlightened. They fire D3 shots, 1 shot each. 5s. Only 3 hits, but freeze to wound. They all wound. 5 up saves. And 2 die, leaving the Autarch, not the Autarch, that's Eldar, Aviarch left. Okay, sluggers from the knobs in this truck are going to go into the horrors. And that's not a good roll. They will miss. Oh no, there's 1-5 in there. And then wounding on freeze does wound, and this will hit the brimstone, need a 6 up. The war boss will just fire his rocket into the exalted flamer, which misses. Okay, the shock jump dragster will fire into combat. These are the rifle, which 2 hits and a dagger, which also hits because it's fired by the squig. Strength 8, toughness 7. Oh no! 1 wound. Demon saves. And then the rocket fires and misses. Okay, these shooter boys are going to fire into the horrors. I'm going to do the big shooter and the boss's slugger at the same time because it's the same hit and wound roll and saving throw for all weapons. 3 daggers, none of which convert, so that is 7 hits, wounding on freeze. That's 5 wounds. First wound against the brimstone, which kills it. Second wound against the blue horror, which turns it into a brimstone. And then the rest on pink horrors, which are 4 ups. And it's going to kill 1 pink horror. Okay, all but one of these boys will fire their sluggers into the horrors. The other boy throwing a stick bomb. And also there's a rocket in there. The rocket will go into the exalted flamers. So let's do that first. Hits with a dagger. Doesn't convert, and then wounding on 2s does wound. 4 up invulnerable. Saved. Stick bomb. 3. Minimum of 3 because of the size of the squad. Hitting on 5s. Ooh. Daggers. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 4s. Right, a wound. That got on the brimstone. Which saves on a 6. Okay, 25 sluggers. That's not bad shooting from the boys. That's 8 daggers. 16 hits, wounding on 3s. Not so good wound rolling, only 8 wounds. So the first one, finally kills a brimstone. Then this one onto blue horror, which kills it. This one's a blue horror, saved. Blue horror kills it, and then pink horror's 4 up. So one more pink horror goes. Hey, the Mega Track Scrapjet will fire into combat. This is the twin big shooters. The blue ones fired by the Gretchen, so they're hitting on 4s. So only one hit. Wounding on 4 freeze wounds, 5 up save. No, let's plink another wound. The wing missile will only hit on 6s because it's not firing at a vehicle, so misses. And then 2d3 shots for the rocket cannons for 4. 5s to hit, getting 2 hits and a dagger, which doesn't convert. Wounding on 3s, 1 wound, and that will destroy 1 spawn. Okay, the Mega Knobs are out of range just about with their shooter profiles, so the only thing that's actually in range, because the rubrics are just about out of range as well, with their rocket are the cultists, so they might as well fire them. They didn't advance, so they get 1 hit which daggers, doesn't convert, and it's going to smush on the 2 up. It's going to kill a cultist. Okay, last by no means least for the shooting phase, Orc turn 2 is the Stomper. It can fall back and shoot without penalty because it's big and stompier. The small arms fire are all going to go into the horrors. I'm going to try and force quite a nasty morale check on them. The super gatler will go into the Terminators. The Death Cannon will try and finish off the Land Raider, and then it'll fire a second of its super rockets. Put that into the Defiler. Right, let's do the small arms first. Okay, the Scorcher will also hit d6 times for 2. Wounding on 3s. And then a 6 up save on the Brimstone. These are the shooters. Daggers. Freeze to wound. And then first one I go against the last Brimstone, which saves. God, those Brimstone 6 up saves. Finally gets that one, and then a 5 up on the pink horror, blue horror. Okay. D6 heavy for the super rockets. For 2. This is against the Defiler, hitting on 5s. Misses. Got 2 of them left. Death Cannon into the Land Raider. Whoa, 15 shots. Hitting on 5s. I think the Land Raider's in trouble. That's 6 daggers. Should have fired at Magnus, maybe. Oh my goodness. That is 12 strength 10 hits. Winning on 3s. 10 6 up saves. And that is 8d6 damage. It's only got 5 left. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, it did 24 damage. Should have fired at Magnus perhaps. Does it blow up? No. Okay, and this is the Super Gatler into the Terminators. Only for 8 shots. 5s. And it will fire again on a 2 up. It will run out of ammo. It's run out of ammunition. It goes clunk, 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 clunk. That's a shame for the Orcs. Is that going to be significant? The guy on top's yelling down into the interior. Who didn't load enough ammo? Right. I think that's the end of the shooting phase for the Orcs as we go into the charge phase. Both the Death Dread and the Meganobs will declare charge against that spawn. The Orc boys will declare charges against... Should I do... Yeah, I'm going to... no. Yes, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do declare charges against the Exalted Flamer and the Fate Skimmer. These boys are going to go into the Pink Horrors. I think that's it for charges. Oh no, the Stomper will also charge because it can fall back and charge. It will declare charges against the Fate Skimmer and the Horrors again. I think I might Overwatch with the Exalted Flamer with its pink flame, so that'll hit d6 times automatically for 5, and it will wound on freeze. Just checking, the unit is no longer wholly within 8 of the custom force field, so no saves there, go straight for the armor, but the Pain Boy can keep Orks up on a 6. And look, I rolled double 6, so only 1 gets fried. Okay, and this is what it looks like at the end of the charge phase. Good charges all around. The Death Dread getting a good charge mounted slingshot around the spawn, and then the Mega Knobs coming in as well, so I think that spawn is not long for this world. Rolled a 5 initially for the Ork boys. I had to re-roll it with Here We Go, and they got a good 9. So they've engaged both units. And again, a good 9 rolled for the squad of boys who are coming in behind the horrors. Okay, so beginning to make some progress up this flank. And bearing in mind, there's only some cultists here and a very depleted unit of rubrics. This flank's looking slightly dangerous for the Thousand Suns. Okay, let's do the charges. Okay, there's still more than 20 Ork boys in this unit, so they get an extra attack. So this is the boss knob into the Exalted Flamer. He's hitting on 4s because his fist is unwieldy. He scores 3 hits, and he's going to be wounding on 2s. Strength 10, toughness 4. He's going to be 4 up in vulnerable saves. Oh no, that fails, and then 2d3 wounds. That's 4 wounds. Which is enough to send it back to the warp without even the boys getting caught up. So, Loci of Zinch. I'll roll that roll again. So any hit rolls of 5 will automatically miss. Right, 14 boys are either in base to base or within an inch. That's 56 attacks coming in against the Faint Skimmer. I'll do the first 28 and then see if I need to do the next 28. Okay, natural rolls of 5s will miss because of the Loci of Zinch hitting on freeze. 5s to wound. Not a great wound roll that. Only 4 getting through, 4 up saves. Takes only 1 wound. I'm going to have to do the next 28 dice. Hitting on freeze. 5s will miss. Only 11 hits. 5s to wound. I think this is going to survive. 4, 5 wounds. 5, 4 up. It's going to survive. It's only taken 3 wounds in total. 5 left. Yeah, I'm going to spend 2 command points to interrupt. That puts Thousand Suns down to 6 command points. The Orks on 15. Sorry, 16. I keep forgetting to give him more dagger on the Stomper. I will definitely remember next turn. So let's do the Fate Skimmer. The Rider will attack the Orks, hitting on 4s, getting 1 hit, wounding on 4s. Does wound, -1 save. Pain Boy is only 3 inches, and that's out of range, so that does kill a boy. And because it's a ritualistic dagger, it can heal a wound because it's slain a enemy, so it's back up to 5 wounds. And the Screamers will attack the Stomper, hitting on 4s, getting 3 hits, wounding on 5s. 1, it's a -3, so 6 up save. Doesn't it's a flat 2 damage, putting the Stomper down to 19. Right, Ork player's going to spend a command point on Patch Up, which basically means you double the wounds left over on a Stomper for the category, working out its statistics. So it's effectively back up to full amount of attacks. Okay, that puts the Stomper up to 6 attacks, and it's hitting on freeze. I think I'm going to use the the slash profile again, and the Loci of Trickery. I've got the right name this time. The Loci of Trickery still in effect, so 5s will miss if I attack the chariot, but I really want that dead. So I'm going to put 3 of its attacks into the chariot, 3 into the horrors, So that is 9 effectively attacks on each squad. Hitting on 3s. This is against the chariot. That's not a great roll. In fact, when I take those 5 away, oh, it's only 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. They all wound. 4 up save. And he takes D3 wounds. It's not going to kill it. I can't believe it. It's down to 3 wounds left. This is against the horrors. This is a wound roll, I'll say. So that is 5. This is the brimstone dies. This is the blue horror that dies, and then 4 ups on the pink horrors. So 2 pink horrors go. Okay, and that's how things end up after the Stomper has fought. Now, do the rest of the charges. So let's do the knob. First, he's hitting on 3s, and he's wounding on 3s, and 6 up save. No. These are the normal boys, hitting on 3s. 10 hits, wounding on 3s. That's 7 wounds. Let's do the first 4 against the blue horrors. They're 5 up saves. No, they all get slain. And that leaves 3 more wounds to go against the pink horrors, 4 up save. And 2 of them die. Well, I say die, they never lived. But they get cast back into warp. That's how things stand after that combat. They're finally looking a bit thin on the ground, the horrors. Although they've taken a lot. They've stood in front of a massive waaaagh and have stood there for 2 turns. Right, okay, let's just dispatch this spawn. Okay, it's got 4 killer claws, so 2 attacks base, plus 1 for each killer claw is 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, getting 4 hits. He'll be wounding on 2s. And that is -3 fat 3 damage, so that's 12 wounds, causing the spawn. It is ripped asunder. Okay, the horrors managing to tear down an orc. And as we go over to this combat, the Helldrake no longer having hateful assault, so 4 attacks hitting on 3s, scoring 3 hits, wounding on 3, strength 7, toughness 6. Only 1 5 up save. Saved. Goodness. Shock jump dragster attacks back, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, getting 1 5 up save. 4 up save, that saves anyway. So yeah, another stalemate over here. And I think that is it for combat. Yes. And that's the end of Orc turn 2. Interesting. This flank is looking quite good. There's 1,000 Suns are going to have to probably start moving assets over in this direction, which may weaken the middle, the centre. This flank's looking okay for the 1,000 Suns. The Orcs really slowed down on this flank by the Zangor sacrificing themselves. And again, the demons in the middle have done a sterling job in keeping the Orcs in the centre at bay. However, there is a whopping great morale test. Only a 1 will succeed because they lost so many in the unit, and that's a fail. So 1 brimstone will flicker out of existence, and that leaves 9 left in the squad. They started with 9, but I'm going to treat them as having combat attrition because they've just taken so much punishment. It seems the right thing to do. I'm not entirely sure how the rules work when models are effectively split and spawn into the unit. But anyway, 1s or 2s, they disappear back into the warp. So that's, oh goodness, that's another 1 2 3 4 5 back, leaving only a pink horror and two pinks and 1 blue. Sorry, I can't count. 2 blues, 2 pinks. Okay, and that's the end of Orc turn 2. Actually, not quite. I've got a morale test here. They lost 2. Leadership is 7. They just about hold. And the cultists, they lost 1 and they hold. Although I think if I was amongst that number, I might be considering running away. Okay, beginning of turn 3 for the 1,000 Suns. Let's see if the psychic defences do anything on 6s. Yes, and I'm going to do D3 damage to this Megatrack Scrapjet 2. It's got 1 left. Just interrupting the Thousand Suns movement phase in turn 3. Thousand Suns player electing to fall back with the Fate Skimmer, so things can still shoot at the Stomper, and the Orc player spending a command point on cut them down. So there are 7 Orcs in engagement range with the Fate Skimmer. On 6s, they do mortal wounds. 1 mortal wound. On a 5 up, Thousand Suns get another command point, but they don't. Okay, here we are at the end of movement phase, Thousand Suns, turn 3. Okay, what's happened? Magnus has come round here, because I think we need to deal with this flank, and he's supported with the Screamers and the Hell Brute. These units mostly stayed where they are. The Flamers coming forward along with the Rhino, just effectively stopping those characters being shot at. Yeah, and the Horrors that were here have fallen out of combat and have managed to sort of find an exit place here. And as I've just recorded, the Fate Skimmer suffering a mortal wound from hack it down. What's that strategy? Cut them down as it also fails to combat. The reason being, so I also want to shoot at the boys. Okay, let's go into the psychic phase. Let's kick off with the Zangor Shaman. Going to do a smite, and it will hit the shock jump dragster, and that does go off on a 5. I might as well try and deny that with my 1 denial from the weird boy, who does succeed on a 6. Yep. Okay, Exalted Sorcerer will hold on. Yeah, Exalted Sorcerer also smiting, just had to measure, and the shock jump dragster is still the closest visible target. It is on a 6, and that goes off. Nothing they can do about that, the Orcs, so D3 mortal wounds. 2, leaving 1 left. Okay, second power bolted change against the weird boy. Warp charge value of 9 notice, and that fails. Terminators cast Time Flux on themselves, and that does go off, and they will get their slain Terminator back. The Chariot would cast Gaze of Fate. Oh, and that's a Perils. Command point reroll. That does go off, so there is a reroll available until next psychic phase. The Thousand Suns, I think, are down to 8 command points. Magnus the Red will smite. This is now on a 7. And he can reroll 1s because he's Magnus the Red. And that is a super smite, which means it does 2d6 damage against the Dreadnought, whatever the Orc Dreadnought is. And 4 and a 1, I'm going to Gaze of Fate that 1. 7 mortal wounds. I think it's got 8, that's annoying. Yes, 1 mortal wound left on the Death Dread. The Magnus the Red will Glamour of Zinchi himself, and that goes off. He's at -1 to hit, and he will also increase his invulnerable save to a 3 up, and that also goes off. So Magnus is all tanked up again. Ahriman will try and smite that last wound off the Death Dread on a 8 this time, but he gets to add 1 to that. 6, 7. No, that fails. Ahriman will Prescience the Defiler, and that goes off. And finally, he will Infernal Gaze the Death Dread. 5s does go off, and that's 3 dice, and looking for a 4 up on any of them. Yeah, it does 3 mortal wounds to the Death Dread, which destroys it. Does it blow up? No. The Death Dread there being annihilated in a wash of Psychic Mastery. What have I got left? Okay, Smite from this sorcerer. I think I'm on 9 now. And I can re-roll failed Psychic tests because they're near the Noctilith Crown. And yeah, that does go off. That will hit the Orc boys, and that's a D6 smite for 3. He will boon of Zinch himself. And that fails. You can re-roll that because of the Noctilif Crown. And oh, that is a perils. Spending a command point on Adepts of the Immaterium, which I ignore the perils results. But I do roll 2d6 and consult a table because the spell still goes off, and that's 10. Crystalline body, add 1 to the character's toughness characteristic. Okay, the last sorcerer can only do a smite, and this will be on a 10. That's a fail. I'll re-roll that because the Noctilif Crown still fails. And then a baby smite coming from this rubric squad. This is on an 11. And that's a perils, and I've already used my reroll, and I've already used Adepts of the Immaterium. That's D3 wounds against the squad. 3! Uh-oh. That was a lot of problems with not much gain. Right, one more spell. The rubrics over here, Firestorm of Zinch. And that fails. Okay, pretty successful psychic phase apart from the rubrics detonating in this flank. But hopefully with the presence of Magnus, they should be able to deal with what's coming. Let's go on to the shooting phase. Multi-melter from the Hellbrute into the Stomper, hitting on 3s. Getting 1 hit, winning on 4s. Doesn't wound. Okay, the cultists are going to try and take the last wound off this Megatrak Scrapjet. These are the auto guns hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because of Magnus. Strength 3, toughness 6, so 6s. 1, 4-up save, or it's destroyed. It is destroyed. Come on, point reroll. Go on, I've got loads to spare. No, it doesn't help. Does the Thousand Suns get 1? No. Does it blow up? No. Okay, Scarab Cop Terminators into, well, the Storm Bolters are going to go into this shooter squad here, and then the missiles are going to go into the Stomper. So these are the missiles hitting on 3s, we're running 1s. Strength 8, toughness 8, so it's 4s to wound, getting 1 wound. -2, so 5-up saves. No, D3 damage. Lost it, 2. Putting it down to 17. These are these Warp Storm Bolters, rerolling 1s because of the Demon Prince. 15 hits, wounding on 4s, in fact killing on 4s. 8 wounds, and with the knob there's 8 wounds in that unit, wiping them to a man. That is another victory point, putting the Thousand Suns up to 7. Okay, the Havoc launcher on the Rhino into the squad of boys. It would automatically fire 6 times because it's a blast weapon. And there's lots more than 11 boys there. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Exalted Sorcerers. Strength 5, toughness 4. 3s to wound. They all wound. T-shirt saves. Oh, save 1, 4 dead. Okay, moving on to the Zinchi Flamers into the Orc boys. These are 3d6 auto hits for 7. Strength will be 5 because they're within 6 inches of the Fate Skimmer. So that is 6 dead. Yeah, this Orc squad not being in range of the custom force field or the pain boy really hurting a little bit. Moving on, then the sole surviving Zangor Enlightened will fire his bow and arrow against the Stomper. Why not? Hitting on 2s and auto wounding on 5s. So that's this will not wound. It needs a 6, so a 4-up save on the auto wound. Yep, saved. Bale Flamer into the Shot Jump Dragster. Hits 3 times, wounding on 5s. And wounds twice, -2, so 6-up saves, flat 2 damage. That is a destroyed buggy. Does it blow up? No. Okay, finally, the Defiler. I'm going to spend a command point on Demon Forge. Battle Cannon into the Stomper, Autocannon into the boys downfield. So this is the autocannon hitting on 3s because of prescience, rerolling 1s because of the demon prince. Strength 7, 3s to wound. That's 2 more boys dead. Battle cannon fires 3 times. Okay. Hitting on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 4, strength 8. And I can reroll failed wounds because of demon forged. 2 5-up saves, -2. No, that's 2d3 damage. 4, 5. Good solid hit by the battle cannon into the stomper. It's beginning to smoke and crackle. Yeah. Thousand Suns doing quite well at the moment. It feels like they're doing well. They're pushing back the Orks a bit. But we've got some charges yet to make. So Magnus are red and the Screamers are going to go into the Meganobs. And that is it, I think. Yeah. So I think the Meganobs might as well Overwatch. The Screamers are going to soak that up. So let's do that now. These are the rockets, which miss. These are the shooters. Get 1 hit, wounding on 3s, doesn't wound. And to add insult to injury, the Thousand Suns got a command point back due to Helm of the Third Eye. Okay, I didn't roll a charge because I thought it'd succeed, but Magnus Red only rolled a 4. That is a failed charge. I'm going to have to spend a command point reroll. And they do get it. He gets in this time. Magnus Red has 7 attacks base at maximum profile, +1 for hateful assault, hitting on 2s. He hits everything. Strength 14, toughness 4, 2s to wound. Ooh, couple of 1s. -3 save. So that's 5-up damage. 5-up save. Only 1. Fat 3 each. And that leaves only 1 Meganob left. Magnus slaying 5. Removing away from the Screamers, so they are no longer in engagement range. This is a Meganob attacks back against Magnus, and he hits once. He's unwieldy and he's got Glamour of Zinchi on, but you can only get 1 minus, can't you? Can't get -2. Strength, I think it's going to be 3s to wound, strength 10. It'd be on his invulnerable save of 3-up, and he saves. And then the Screamers consolidate closest to the closest enemy. That's the end of Thousand Suns turn 3. They have now got 7 victory points, having destroyed 7 units thus far as we go into the Orks turn 3. Oh, hold on, there'll be a morale test for the Nobs, Meganob. I think it's going to be a fail. That's a fail, but on a 6, because of keeping order, they don't run away. But no, he does. So that's 8 victory points for the Thousand Suns. And these boys also failed the morale test, and 4 have just fled. Oh dear, I think the Orks need to put out a few more stops now as we go into Ork turn 3. See what happens in Ork turn 3 as you watch part 2 of this battle report.